the next session that I'll be doing will be focused on elementary aged students. And then I'll be doing a third session which will be around organizing what we call a money fair, which is like a science fair, around concepts of money management and financial management for your kids. So, second one is, well, I'm going to be here all day. So, and I have a colleague downstairs. His name is Sam. He's not in the main hallway, but down the other hallway. And Sam is an intern with us. He's a recent newcomer from Nigeria, and he's working with RBC. And delightfully, RBC has a program called Career Launch, where they put a number of participants, there's over 100 across the country, that are working with not-for-profit organizations, NGOs like ours, to get some Canadian workplace cultural experience. So we're delighted that Sam's joining me today, and he's manning our booth downstairs. So my name is Kevin Maynard. I'm the Vice President and Chief Operating Officer for an organization called the Canadian Foundation for Economic Education. It's a mouthful, but I can tell you a little bit about the organization. The organization's existed for over 40 years. In fact, 2 years ago we celebrated our 40th year of operations. We're a registered Canadian not-for-profit, which means that we're here to serve our various publics. Originally, we were actually located at the University of Toronto, part of the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education, or OISE. And we were originally established as a library for students that were enrolled at the Faculty of Education. And the idea was that those soon-to-be teachers needed exposure to resources around economic education. So 40 years ago, we were established to help provide a library for those soon-to-be teachers that were teaching economics in this country. Since that time, our mandate has grown and our stakeholder group has changed quite significantly. Now we serve Canadians across this country, and we actually have programs in the United States as well. And we work with teachers at all levels, from elementary to post-secondary, including college and university. We help to support third-party groups such as settlement agencies working in communities across the country. We work with senior centers that are affiliated with municipalities. And we do have a number of programs available for the general public as well. All of our programs and services that we provide are free. All of our programs and services that we provide are funded by sponsors. Usually those sponsors come from the private sector. So you'll see some of our resources, you'll see funded by or supported by on those various types of resources. Our resources cover the entire age group. So we have resources that are appropriate for 3- and 4-year-olds. Not many, but we have a couple of things that are good for 3- and 4-year-olds. All the way up to what we call 18 plus, or people in transition. And I would say that even those resources that are 18 plus actually go as far up as in the 80s and 90s, because we actually have some workshops that we do for seniors that are in transition from their homes to assisted living centers, for example. And more recently, I've been doing a lot of work with people my age that are dealing with issues like retirement, estate planning, writing a will, or dealing with the death of a spouse. So we do cover a wide variety of age groups, and we work through, in most cases, third-party organizations. So we don't do a lot of workshops ourselves. I like to do them because I like to be in front of people, and my friends always say, give him a microphone and he'll talk forever. So I do like to do some workshops, and I try to keep engaged that way, but generally we work through third-party organizations like teachers, settlement agencies, senior citizen centers, those kinds of things. Now, the work that we do is in 4 areas. I mentioned that at the beginning that we started our work based on developing resources around economic education. We actually now do 4 areas. And I always use the initials on our little folder to help guide me. So the first one is careers. So career development and career exploration. for all of those stakeholder groups that I mentioned earlier. So we do have resources that support career exploration. The next one, F, the easiest one for me, is financial literacy. So information that will help people to make decisions around money management, to make those decisions wisely, and to make those decisions as they relate to decisions that are made in the real world, usually tied to life events. And that enables us to deal in that area from 3 and 4-year-olds all the way up to 80 and 90-year-olds. Okay? Because what we try to do is we try to help people to understand the knowledge that they need to have and then to practice that knowledge in a real way. So financial literacy is the second area of work that we do. The third is entrepreneurship or enterprising education. Because that we know that individuals, not every individual is going to want to work for someone else. So we've actually done a lot of work on entrepreneurship. And in fact, in the late 80s, early 90s, we helped the Ministry of Education in Ontario develop some curriculum for entrepreneurship that was introduced in this province. We took it a little bit further because we also think that taking some of those skills and knowledge areas and infusing them in individuals also helps you to be an enterprising person within an organization. So we kind of moved the definition of entrepreneur a little bit further and looked at enterprising capabilities as well. So entrepreneurship and enterprising capabilities is the third area of work that we do. And the fourth is our foundation, and that's economics. Some people call it the dreary science or the dismal science. What we try to do with our work in economics is to help to bring the theory alive, again, based on real life experiences. So simple concepts like supply and demand, and how supply and demand impacts price would be one example, right? So we do go back to our work, our roots, and we do a lot of work on economics as well. Yes?
What was the first one?
The first one is career development or career exploration. All right. Now, to give you a little bit of background on myself, I've been involved in this kind of work since I graduated from university in the late 80s. I'm a graduate of University of Windsor. I was born and raised in a small rural community called Chatham, where I actually ran a farm with my family. Moved to Toronto after graduation and started work for a not-for-profit called Junior Achievement. And I worked for Junior Achievement for 13 years. Eventually I was the National Director of Programs for Junior Achievement. And I did work for them in Canada, in the Arctic, and in the Caribbean. So I had a great opportunity to spread my wings and to explore my own career and find out where I wanted to go. I began work with the Foundation for Economic Education in 1998 and worked for them for until 2006. And then I went away to work on development of labor market information for the federal government, and I did that until 2012. And then I went back to work as a consultant for the Canadian Foundation for Economic Education. So I've been working in this field for a long time. I always say I'm not an educator. Rather, I'm kind of the person that sort of sits on the fence between education, business, and community. I've always worked for a not-for-profit and love it. I love it. It's given me an opportunity to travel, to meet people across the country, and to help. And I think that that's really important. You have to follow your passion in whatever you do, and I think that that's very important. So I'm going to speak probably for about 40 minutes on some of the resources that we have available to you. I haven't given you a lot of paper, and I haven't given you a lot of paper because everything that we have is available on our website. So I've actually got the website up, and we're going to explore it a little bit. I'm going to try and focus our activities on activities that would be relevant to you in supporting your children or your students if you happen to be an educator at the secondary level. Before we go much further, can I ask, is anyone actually a teacher in the room? Put your hand up. Okay. And where do you teach?
Local.
Local? What grade level?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten. Okay, great. But you're here as a parent then, probably more so. Okay. And are Are you members of your parent PIC at your local school? No? You are? You're a parent council? Yeah, a few of you are, and the rest of you are parents. Right, here to learn, okay. The materials I'm going to show you will be relevant to you as parents. A lot of the materials I'm going to show you will be lesson plans that would be appropriate for a teacher to deliver. That doesn't mean you can't deal with them. I'm going to focus on one of our programs that is specifically written for parents though, all right? So I'm going to show you some more that hopefully, as an involved parent, you might want to share with your teacher of your student, or of your child at home, all right? So everything I'm going to show you is available on our website. It's all easy to download. Most of our programs are available in English and French, and one of our programs is also available in Spanish. Some of our career materials is more than one language. Yeah?
Just for us.
That's for you.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have more of those available, and as well, that Money and Youth book is also downloadable for free from on Kobo, and you can also print chapters from the internet. All right, but we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Now, one of the things I'd like to show you is a link to a survey. As a foundation, what we do in a lot of cases is we do a lot of research around what our stakeholder needs. So one of the things that we're doing right now in preparation for Financial Literacy Month is we're doing a nationwide survey for kids to go online and do a SurveyMonkey survey on financial or money management concepts that they think are important to them. So I just would like to show you what that looks like. Oh, shoot. So I've written it up here. So it's www.surveymonkey.com/r/youth survey money. So this just gives you an idea of the type of work that we do. This will give us some information on the demographics of young people and what they're interested in. So for example, one of the questions is, what would you most like to learn about when it comes to handling and managing money? And then there's a range of options. Things like how to manage my money well and not waste it or mismanagement, how to handle peer pressure when it comes to money decisions and buying things, etc. So the goal here is to do some primary research that we can share with the community around what are the needs of young people in terms of financial concepts. Because it makes no sense for organizations like us to develop resources that don't meet the needs of our audience. So this is some primary research that we're doing. Currently we have about 3,000 responses that are in. The survey's only been up for about a week and a half. It's available in English and French. So I would encourage you to share the link with your kids and then have them go in. They can complete the survey. There's nothing on there that tracks the actual user, so there's no emails that are going to be sent back, and it's all done through SurveyMonkey. Yes?
So the yearly, right? It's for both elementary and secondary.
This would be for all of any young person, because it will show what grade they're in as well.
So the survey link can be also circulated to the school.
Yes, we're trying to circulate it to as many of the target audience as we can. Many school boards have systems in place and processes that don't enable them to share a survey with their students. Yes?
When is Financial Literacy Month?
So Financial Literacy Month is the month of November. So all throughout November. So our goal is to actually have young people complete the survey prior to the month of November, and then at the end of November we're going to release the results. Okay. Again, it's available in English and French. The link to it is here. So you can see it, www.surveymonkey.com/r/youth survey money. Please come in. Yeah. Do you need more chairs? Here, we'll just throw these up here for you to sit in. You get the comfy ones. Okay? Yeah, come on up and be comfortable. You're welcome. There you go. You're welcome.
VIP.
Is there any questions about that? Again, the way that we develop our resources and our programs is based on client need. So we're really trying to, our goal is to get over 8,000 responses. So again, I open it up to you to see if you'd like to share it with your child either way.
Is this specific to Halton?
No, this is across Canada.
Do you have a Facebook page where it's linked up?
Pardon me?
Do you have a Facebook
I
page
believe we
where
do, but
it's linked up?
I'm not a social media person. Our social media person has probably linked it as well. Okay? So, in your package, the little folder I've given you, there are 2 business cards. One of them is for myself. It has my cell phone number and my email address. On the left-hand side is my associate, Susan Lennox. And Susan looks after our office downtown. So any inquiries you have, if you can't get hold of me, you can get a hold of her. There's also a toll-free number available to reach her at. I'm going to show you now, take you through some of the resources that we have available. If somebody can give me a 15-minute warning before 1:30, just so that I make sure I wrap up on time. Okay? And I may sit occasionally as we go through. So this is our website. Our website is www.cfee.org. And as I mentioned before, all of our resources that we make available, we've done a transition from print resources primarily to resources that you can access for free off the internet. There are a couple of print resources that we still maintain only because it makes sense to do it, and we've had the support of a sponsor to do print. So I'm going to begin, and I always like to start at the top and work my way down. This is our website, and it's our main page for most of our resources and interactive programs. And you can see there's 11 listed on the site. There's actually more resources than that, but what we've tried to do is highlight those that are probably most relevant for the groups that I speak to. And the first one I'm going to show you is called Talk with Our Kids About Money. So Talk with Our Kids About Money is a resource that we developed that supports 2 different groups. The first group is educators, primarily at the 7th grade. And what we decided to do is to develop a series of lesson plans that are correlated to curriculum in every subject area, in every jurisdiction in Canada. And we also deliver the program currently in the state of Illinois and the state of Wisconsin. So if you are an educator teaching at grade 7, and your primary area of teaching was dramatic arts here in Ontario, you could go onto the system, you could register, and you could pull off lesson plans that would highlight financial concepts using content that was appropriate for a dramatic arts curriculum, so that it's not an add-on, rather it's an integrated approach to learning. Okay? All of the lesson plans have been developed with the support of educators that we've hired from across the country, and they've been tested. This is now the 3rd year that we've delivered the program in Canada. And I believe last year we had over 5,000 classes that were actually engaged. So that's a lot of grade 7 students here in Canada. In Canada, it's delivered in English and French. In the United States, in the state of Illinois and the state of Wisconsin, it's delivered in English and Spanish. Very interesting, when we launched it with our partner, the City of Chicago School Board, over 50% of the students that attend public schools in the City of Chicago, their language is Spanish, it's not English. So we adapted the program to meet the needs of those students. Up until this year, the program was funded by the Bank of Montreal. We're currently in the final stages of securing a new sponsor for the program across Canada. So let me just show you what it looks like. So again, you can go to www.cfe.org and it will open up all of our resources. So I'm just going to click on, and I checked this morning and everything worked. There we go. So Talk with Our Kids About Money is a concept that we developed because we heard from both teachers and parents that it was difficult to have a conversation with students or with your own kids about money matters. In many cases, both teachers and parents didn't think they had the knowledge to be able to do it. Now, it's my strong belief that we as individuals actually, we really begin to learn about money management when we're little. One of the workshops that I do, the first question I ask is, can you give me your earliest memory of when you had money in your hand? So I'm going to ask you, can you give me your earliest memory of money or having money? Can you?
When I got my own memories, pocket money.
Pocket money. Okay, how'd you get the pocket money?
You know, I'm just doing chores around.
Doing chores around the house. Okay, good. Anyone else? Yeah?
Going to the store for my grandfather.
Going to the
Buy
store.
his tobacco.
Okay, so he would give you money, you'd go down and
I
you'd
didn't
buy.
say, you can have the change.
You can have the change. Okay, and what did you do with the change?
I kept some of it,
Okay.
and I bought a popsicle with the other.
Okay. So, you see how in these kinds of conversations, you from a very young age, you do develop understanding of money and money management. And over time, you develop better capacity to learn more and to manage money more effectively. So one of the things that we try to do with our resources is to link the concepts to real life experiences that are age appropriate. And through that kind of approach and that process, it does enable people. So it enables a parent to have the confidence and the knowledge to have that discussion with their kids. It gives educators an opportunity to relay concepts and to practice those concepts with confidence as well. Okay? And that's one of the concepts or the foundations of what we do at CFEE is we help people to get information and to use that information effectively. So Talk with Our Kids About Money has a focus for grade 7 educators, and it also has a focus for parents in the home program to be able to take activities and use those activities as centerpieces for discussions with their kids at all age groups. Okay? So those are the two parts of Talk with Our Kids About Money. The third part is equally important. And the third part is we do a media campaign. And we do a media campaign to harness everyone's thought and energy around the third Wednesday of every April. So the third Wednesday of every April, we do what's called Talk with Your Kids About Money Day. And we encourage our education partners, so grade 7 teachers, to do an activity with their students that focuses on money management. And we encourage parents and parent councils to do an activity with their kids about money management. And we do a media campaign. All right? So again, I put the date up here. It's Wednesday, April the 19th, 2017. It's 1 week later in the United States, but that's the week for Canada. Okay? Are you familiar with the Take Your Kids to Work Day?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is exactly the kind of thing that we do for Talk with Your Kids About Money Day. And we do it in April because we are aware that November is a very busy month. November is Financial Literacy Month in Canada, but we also know that it's the month in which Take Your Kids to Work Day actually occurs. So we put our activity in April. All right. So this is Talk with Your Kids About Money. You can get to it from the CFE site, or you can also get to it at www.talkwithyourkidsaboutmoney.com. You can see it's available for Canada, the United States, and internationally. That means that if you pull up the United States, it's going to do curriculum and alignments to the 2 states that we offer the program in the United States, so Illinois and Wisconsin. If you're in Canada, you'll have an option to pull up the alignments to curriculum for the province of Ontario. You can also choose language, and you can set your own profile. So for example, if you're a parent and your kids are, let's say they're ages 8 through 13 right now, you can set that profile, and then the system will select activities that are appropriate only for 8 to 13-year-olds. Okay? And you can actually save activities in a folder and then talk with your friends about them. Or you can save a folder and then start at the top and work your way down the activities. All right? So I want to show you a few of the resources. So I'm going to go first into the school program. Now I've already registered. Hopefully I'm still registered. I registered this, put my login this morning. But what I would encourage you to do as a parent or as a teacher is to go home and register. Again, the registration gives us demographic information so that we can focus development of new lesson plans and activities that are appropriate for the people that are using the system. So you can see here, it's pulled up all of the resources that are available. I'm in the school program for the province of Ontario because I registered as an Ontario teacher. You can pull up the different grade levels, subject areas, and topics. So the search engine will allow you to do that, or what I like to do is I just kind of like to look. So if I was to look, that first one is the category is science and technology, and this is about saving money in the environment, LAD versus incandescent lighting. But let's look at this one. This is one based on music, money concepts, earning, saving, spending, borrowing, and opportunity cost. If I wanted to find out a little bit more about the lesson, I click on it, and it gives you an idea of the category. So this is music. Now, you should know that most teachers that teach financial literacy, really the only ones that have done it in the past are those that are in math. Okay? This gives an opportunity for financial concepts to be integrated throughout the curriculum. That's why we've tried to align it to Ontario curriculum documents, the expectations by subject area. So this is Ontario. And you can see the actual links to curriculum expectations. So apply the elements of music when singing and or playing, composing and arranging music, using them for specific effects and clear purposes. Use the tools and techniques of musicianship and musical performances. So those are the two goals that teachers have to teach. And these are the two goals that align to this little lesson plan. So the lesson plan is very simple. There's an overview. Class will discuss the meaning of several money concepts, and they will expand their understanding of these concepts by performing in small groups a money song based on a familiar tune. All right? It tells you what you need to do. It's a one-period activity. You have to make copies of the 7 songs provided. We give them the copies of the songs. All they have to do is print them. And then there's an implementation strategy. So this is basically the teacher's recipe for success. All right? So they just follow the suggested implementation strategy. Then there's an evaluation. Ask what message about money the composer was trying to teach by writing this version of the song. Ask each group what they learned about money today. Okay? So very simple. And then there are some other links to the home program. So you can see here, there are 2 activities. One is, what do you know about finances on the web, ages 11 through 13, and what kind of spender are you to game for ages 11 to 13. Again, what we want to try and do is provide something that a teacher can recommend that parents follow up with back home. Okay? And then there's the songs. So the first one is borrowing money. There's some verses. There's come on everybody. Okay, so all of the verses are there. All right? What do you think?
It's great.
As a teacher?
As a teacher, as a kindergarten teacher, it's interesting because we've got the new play-based. So to me, I hear this coming right up through, right? So this is a music teacher integrating play to learn about money.
Absolutely.
So it just tells me where our education is going.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, the concept that has been developed was, rather than set aside another course that a teacher had to do on financial management, this is a way to integrate, but not to overload a teacher that already has a number of things that they have to do in the, 110 hours or less that they have available to them.
And you said this one is for elementary.
This particular, because it's an activity, or sorry, this is a lesson plan from the school program. It's targeted at grade 7. Okay. Now, the reason I wanted to show you the school-based program first is the focus we did was grade 7 because we had a lot of work to align all of the activities to curriculum in 13 different jurisdictions in Canada and 2 in the United States. And we wanted to focus. Now, teachers, such as yourself, you're really good at your job. You are. I've seen teachers be able to take a lesson plan like this and be able to adapt it to even kindergarten 1, 2, or 3, right? I mean, these guys are professionals, right? This is what they do for their living. So they're able to do it. So even though it's a grade 7 oriented activity, or sorry, lesson plan, you can do it at lower grade levels. I delivered it at a school down by the QW. I went in for 2 days, and I delivered to every 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th grade the variety of lesson plans that we have available. So although it's a targeted lesson plan for grade 7, teachers can modify the kind of content that's here and make it age appropriate and even learning style appropriate for their students. Okay? Any other questions? So that was just one example, and I just picked one. All right. Now, what I'd like to do is we're going to go into the home program, hopefully. So this is the home program. So the home program is set up a little differently from the school program. The school program is based on lesson plans designed for grade 7, and the content is set up in proper pedagogy for a teacher to implement. We realize that parents generally don't have a lot of education experience in terms of delivering things to young people. So we've set up the activity plans a little bit differently. So the activity plans are set up differently, so when we click on one, you'll see it reads a bit different, but it's also what we decided to do was develop a better range of resources. So rather than us focus on, grade 7 is generally, let's see if I get it right, 11, 12-year-olds, is that right? 11, 12, maybe 13? So what we tried to do is develop more resources for ages 5 through 18 plus. So you can see if you go in under the home program, which is what I did, the age range is all 5 to 7, 8 to 10, 11 through 13, 14 through 16, 16 plus, or what we call 18 plus, the transition years. We also have categorized them by activity type. So things like movies, music, and TV. Now, some of those things will require you to, I was going to say rent a videotape, but you don't do that anymore. Visit Netflix and use a show that's on there. There's games, there's crafts, there's activities local, and activities home. By activities, it's usually a craft, like something you would do, or it's a field trip. I'll call it a field trip. It'd be like going to the grocery store, okay? Or doing things at home. So let's just play with this a bit. Now, because the lesson plans are targeted at grade 7, let's maybe go lower. So we'll do, no, we said higher because you're secondary. So let's do 14 to 16-year-olds. So I did 14 to, oh. Did it do it? It didn't. Okay. So 14 to 16, I did search. And now it's pulled up just these little, right? So let's look at one of them. This is a kind of silly one, but it demonstrates what we're talking about. So this is about making a duct tape wallet. All right? And here, you can see the age group is 14 to 16. It's a craft, so this is something you do on a rainy day. And it's around the discussion about how to keep your money safe, right? How to keep your money safe, you need a place to put your money. So it's about actually making a wallet out of duct tape. All right, this is kind of a fun little thing you can do. So it tells you what you need to do. So here's what you need. You need a computer, rolls of duct tape, scissors, a hobby knife, ruler, and a cutting board. It tells you about just generally what the learning opportunity is, what the topic is that you have a discussion with your young person about. And then there's even some videos that you can connect with that will show you how to make a duct tape wallet. All right? And then there's some follow-up ideas, things like identity theft and links to identity theft, or making a credit card holder with duct tape. Okay? So you can see what we try to do is we try to introduce a concept, give a little bit of content, and then do an activity that's related to the content. Clear? Now this is a very simple one. All right? There are, the other one that I saw on there, let me see if I can get back to it. I saw one which is Teens Plan a Meal. This is a great one. Again, it's about going through the flyers that you get in your newspaper from the grocery store and planning a meal and actually figuring out how much it costs to do that. Really great activity, and it's something that your son or daughter could do as they accompany you to the grocery store. Okay? Actually have them plan a meal that they'd like to do, and then talk about cost, nutritional value, that kind of thing. So again, all of the information is there, and it's laid out pretty simply. Topic, what you need to do it, what the learning opportunity is, and then I call them cheater notes. So these are the cheater notes that you can print out, you can read and kind of memorize a little bit, and then use them as your discussion points with your son or daughter. All right, that's how it's all set up. Then there's, again, follow-up ideas and websites that would support the concept. Pretty clear? Sometimes the activities, this one doesn't, but sometimes the activities might have, if there was a worksheet, it might have the worksheet and you would just print it off. Then the other thing that we do, and I think this is a great idea as well, this gives you related resources so that if you want to carry on the concept or build with your kids, you can click on the related activities so that you do building block approach to learning with your son or daughter. Thoughts? Yeah?
I think this is awesome.
Okay, good. Good. We've seen a lot of success with it. This will be the 4th year that it's offered. We actually piloted the program in an inner city school called Spruce Court in downtown Toronto 4 years ago. Then we expanded the pilot to include some inner city schools in Montreal. Then we pulled all of the teachers in and the parents together, and from that we revised it and we completed an update and revision over the last couple of years. So again, I encourage you to go online, talk with our kids about money.com or wwcp.org. Register as a parent or a teacher. Go through some of the activities, use them, tell your kids about it, and if you're connected with your parent council at your school, try and make a connection with your grade 7 teacher. Again, April 19th, 2017 is Talk with Our Kids About Money Day. Any further questions about Toucan? Yeah?
So you just mentioned about making connection with the grade 7 teacher.
Yeah.
What if for council in secondary school, what would you recommend?
Well, then you could still show it to, I would go to probably the vice principal or principal. You can introduce it to them, but they do need to be aware that the lesson plans in the school program are not focused on secondary school, they're focused on grade 7. That's just the only caution. Again, teachers will take any material and revise it for their grades. Okay? Yeah?
In my son's school, the kids with IEPs can take courses each semester to help them do homework, learn how to organize themselves. And I'm thinking that this might be something that those teachers that teach that course might
Yeah.
work with them.
Yeah.
Are you talking about GLE?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do 15 minutes.
That's my 15-minute warning. I have to go real quickly then. Okay, for parents, the next one I'm going to show you is called Classroom Edition. So this is a series of resources that we built using and with support from the Globe and Mail. So what we do is we go into the Globe and Mail, we pull off every month about 5 articles, and we develop a lesson plan on the articles. Now when I was looking at this morning, one of the ones that I thought was this one, how a Trump presidency would affect Canada's economy. Okay, so given what's happening in the news right now, and again, remember this is developed for educators, but bring it back. Sorry. Do all lesson plans. And that's it, right? Okay. So this is the actual lesson plan. So even though you're not a teacher, this provides you with some really interesting questions that you can talk with your kids. Okay? And again, it features current articles in the Globe and Mail. And you can actually print off the article from the Globe, so you don't have to have a copy of the Globe with you. All right? Yes?
What was this lesson, the resource one?
This is called Classroom Edition. Classroom Edition. The next one I'm going to show you is Money and Youth. So Money and Youth is the book that's in front of you. So it's a booklet that looks at money concepts. There's over, I believe it's close to 600,000 copies of that book across Canada. It's used in the province of Manitoba, every grade 10 student gets it. And it's part of a consumer math program in the province of Manitoba. But it's a great little resource for young people. Again, grades 9 to 10 primarily are the ones that use it. It is supported by a teacher's guide that's online. So the teacher's guide has information for various chapters. So if you go to chapter 4 in the book features decision making. So what chapter 4 in the teacher's guide has is it has some backgrounds on things that are around decision making, and then it gives you, as a teacher or as a parent, some concepts that you can break into discussions with your kids. All right? So you can see there, it's not just about money management. It's about some of the background knowledge that one has to have to make decisions with confidence and competence, and how those decisions affect your everyday life. All right? Now the Parents Guide, I must admit that I'm not too happy with the Parents Guide that we've done, because it basically is just a list of 4 different things that might help you as, your child might want to read through the book. But it includes things like an annotated reading list of other books that might be of interest to your kids. It gives some other suggested resources that might be useful for you as parents. There are some websites with some interactivities that might be of interest to you as a parent talking with your kids. And then the last thing is some games that might be worthwhile, that focus on the concepts that are a part of money and youth. The last piece I'm going to show you is a piece that we just developed very recently. This features Canadian entrepreneurs. I believe, Sam, how many are there? Do you know how many videos we have in Spirit of Adventure?
I believe 67.
67. So this is Sam Ojo. Sam is the intern I mentioned who is from Nigeria and has now come to work for us for a few months and has recently been hired by Bell, so we're quite excited for Sam. Yeah. So what we have here is a series of videos that feature Canadian entrepreneurs, and you can see them all listed. But the idea here that we had was sometimes pictures and people talking about their own experiences help to motivate others. So what we did is we went across Canada and we videotaped these individuals. And then we packaged the videotapes up into about 4-minute videos. And then all of the outtakes we've also kept so that you can hear, David talking about his advice, but then as well, you can see how that advice might be listed by a number of different topics. So things like characteristics of entrepreneurs, essential skills for entrepreneurs, financing ventures or accessing capital, how to recognize opportunity, those kinds of things. And these videos have been quite engaging for young people. They like to watch. And the exciting thing that we found was we thought they'd only be interested in the young kids or the kids doing, or the entrepreneurs that were doing technology. One of the ones that has received the highest ratings is an elderly gentleman who grew sunflower seeds in Saskatchewan. And the kids just love it. So I just point this particular resource out to you because, again, it's focused on that first C of our work.
So he spoke about his business of producing sunflower seeds?
Yeah.
And the kids really gravitated to this?
Gravitated to that and to his, he's got a wholesome sort of presentation. He talks about what it's meant for his life.
Mm-hmm.
He actually, the company that he actually ended up selling to is Spitz. Okay? So the other one that we have there is we have the founder of Cirque du Soleil, so he's on there. And we did him 20 years ago. And then you see him talking about starting Cirque du Soleil 20 years ago and hoping it would be, $1 million enterprise. And then we did him now, where he reflects back, and now he's a 20 billion. Actually, he sold the business. So it's a very they're provoking kind of conversations that you could look at.
Just to let everybody know, this is a 10-minute warning. There's 10 minutes remaining in session A. Thank you.
So again, there are no lesson plans for this. This is just simply for you to be able to go on. If your young person is interested in looking at entrepreneurship and you might want to share with them some thoughts, or you yourself, you can go on and you can hear some of these stories. Again, we have about a 4 to 5 minute video clip of the individual talking about their enterprise, and then we've taken all the outtakes and we characterize them into those different groups. Things like teamwork, for example, or leadership, or understanding a balance sheet. All right? Now the last one I'll show you is a resource that we've developed for Ontario, we've done it for Manitoba, and we've done it for Saskatchewan. It's called Building Futures, and what it does is it takes a look at concepts that could be integrated from grades 4 through grade 10. So elementary right through to the early 2 levels of secondary school. So on the bottom, or sorry, the side column, you see some of those money concepts. So money decision making, spending and saving money, etc. What we've done in every province, so this is Ontario, is we've worked with educators to take a look at what concepts are important in this particular grouping. So because you guys are secondary, that's what you're interested in, you can see that what we've done is we've done a topic area for each of the concepts that are part of the framework. Now, one of the ones that I think is always interesting is borrowing money and using credit. So you can see that at the younger grades, what we talk about is borrowing and returning things and repaying. So at the little grades, that's sort of the conceptual level that we're talking. You borrow things because you might not have it and you want it, and you return it. Okay? And then we get, at grade 7 and 8, you take that concept and you build on it. So here it's about what is a credit card? And it's just fundamental knowledge about credit cards. And then you build upon that for grades 9 through 10. You talk about managing debt and credit. So it's a sequential kind of building block approach to learning. All right? So I'm going to show you, again, I know you're not all teachers, but this is still information that you can use. So under the managing debt and credit, I just clicked it, and what we've got here is it's talking about borrowing money and using credit. The grade level is 9 to 10. Here's some of the things that we hope to do here. We hope to have young people know these things. We hope to have them be able to do these things, set reasonable, affordable limits on debt. Hey, wouldn't this be great if we had this kind of stuff when we were kids? Right? And then how does that knowledge affect behavior? So things like picking a credit card most suited to your needs. All right? So taking the knowledge and applying it in a real life situation that's appropriate for you at your age group. All right? So the way that this works, so that just tells you what we do, and then if you click on download, what this will have is a learning plan or a teaching unit. Again, in Ontario, it's targeted to business studies and language arts. And it tells you the actual curriculum expectations that a teacher would follow. It's not really important for you guys if you're going to do it with your kids, but if you wanted to talk about these things with your own children, there's the background information, an overview of what you do, and then how you'd actually do it. And again, they're set up like little points. You know, tell your child that you're going to talk about what they're going to learn in this discussion. Get their input by looking at some cartoons. Discuss things like, where do people go to borrow money? What are some of those costs associated with it? So again, all of the speaking points are listed for each of the periods or conversations that you'd have with your child. And then we also give you resources that you can actually use. So this one has, you can direct your child to go to a website, and they look at some of the inputs to costs around credit. Right? And then again, earlier on it talked about some cartoons. There are some cartoons there or some worksheets that you can use. All right? So I've showed you, is that a little overwhelming? Sorry? Oh, you're reading the cartoon, yeah. I showed you a variety of resources that you can access. Again, many of them are oriented towards teachers. But I think that parents can read through the resources and adapt the content that's there to at least begin that discussion that's important. I remind you that April the 19th is Talk with Your Kids About Money Day. Yes?
I just have a question. Why did you guys stop at grade 10?
Grade 10? We have some resources that we make available in other ways. All right, so grade 10.
Versus there's nothing for grade 11 and 12.
We actually do other things. When I showed you this page,
You just didn't show them.
I didn't show you everything,
all right.
okay? I tried to give you a little bit of a smattering. We've also put speakers into schools. We do a speaker series at post-secondary institutions on managing your money as a college student. Okay? So we do a number of things like that. Again, if you're interested in finding out more, just visit all of the little blips on this page, right? Like Vector. Vector is a career resource that shows over 160 careers. There are videos of people doing their jobs. Quite a neat little tool. And then up at the top of the page, there's other resources that you can look to as well. All right? So again, we go all the way from little ones, where we have a coloring book that talks about a piggy bank, all the way up to resources to help seniors decide about powers of attorney. Okay? Again, most of them you can see from this page here. Now, before you go, I guess I'm supposed to get you to, if you didn't do a QR code for your evaluation, you can complete this evaluation.